That is overwhelming force applied with precision. And again, today will be the largest strike package yet, just like yesterday was. As I've said from day one, our capabilities continue to build, Iran's continue to degrade. We're hunting and striking death and destruction from above.
Military activity along the southern side of this war has intensified again. Recent reporting and battlefield footage point to AH-64 Apache attack helicopters operating in this zone alongside partner nation aircraft, especially from the UAE, with a mission set built around intercepting one-way attack drones and striking small maritime targets. This matters because the air war has already degraded much of Iran's larger military infrastructure. The problem now is not just big missile sites or major air defense batteries. The problem is the smaller, more persistent threats that keep appearing along the southern flank. Shahed-type drones, fast attack boats, and other low-profile targets that can still threaten ships, coastal installations, and nearby Gulf infrastructure. That is where the Apache fits into the fight. The AH-64 is not being used here like a high-altitude strike platform. It is being used the way it was built to fight, low, armed, and close to the threat area.
Target destroy. Target destroy.
The helicopter carries Hellfire missiles for standoff precision, Hydra rocket systems, and the M233mm chain gun mounted under the nose. In this kind of environment, that 30mm cannon becomes especially useful against smaller targets. A slow-moving one-way drone or a light fast boat does not need a large missile to be neutralized. The Apache can engage with direct gunfire while staying in a patrol cycle over the area. The role of these helicopters is tied directly to what is happening on the water. Iran's larger naval units have already taken serious losses, but the southern approaches are still dangerous because they allow room for asymmetric attacks. A drone launched toward a tanker route, a small explosive boat moving out from the coast, or a sudden swarm attempt near shipping lanes does not require a full naval battle to create serious disruption. It only takes one successful hit to create panic in maritime traffic. That is why the current Apache activity matters more than it might look at first. This is not just another support platform being added into the war. It is part of the effort to lock down the lower altitude, lower speed threat picture along Hormuz and the Gulf approach routes. And before these helicopters ever reach that patrol zone, the process starts on the ground and on the pad, with crews, weapons teams, and support personnel preparing the aircraft for exactly this kind of mission. Ground crews move to the aircraft first. Access panels are opened, visible systems are checked, and the helicopter is inspected section by section. The rotor head, landing gear, external pylons, and gun mount are all looked over before the aircraft is accepted for loading. At the same time, maintenance personnel check hydraulic lines, power systems, and visible structural areas around the airframe. The point is to catch anything that could become a problem once the helicopter is already out over water. Then the weapons teams step in. The AH-64's loadout depends on the exact mission, but in this kind of operation, the emphasis is on flexible strike capability. Hellfire missiles are loaded for precision attacks at standoff range. These are the weapons used if a target has to be hit before it gets close to a ship, a coastal facility, or another patrol aircraft. Rocket pods are also mounted, giving the crew options against lighter targets and broader target areas.
What's up? Hey guys, change your plans again. Alright, that works. 8 PDs, 4 MPSF.
Under the nose, the 30mm M230 chain gun is already part of the aircraft's core firepower, and ammunition for it is loaded as part of the aircraft preparation cycle. That 30mm gun is especially relevant here because the targets are not always large. A one-way attack drone does not require a heavy missile if the helicopter can get close enough and maintain a firing solution.
Target destroy. Target destroy. Target destroyed.
The same goes for light boats moving near the waterline. In this role, the Apache is not wasting expensive weapons on every contact. It can use the gun where the gun makes sense and keep the heavier weapons available for more difficult targets. While the aircraft is being armed, the flight crew starts its own preparation cycle. Pilots and weapons officers go through the mission brief, patrol areas are confirmed, coastal routes, identification points, and expected traffic patterns are reviewed. Known threat zones are marked out, communication channels are checked, and deconfliction with other aircraft is confirmed so the helicopters do not overlap with fast jets, drones, or partner aircraft using the same operating area. In a crowded battle space, that coordination matters as much as the weapons load. Then the crew checks personal equipment. Helmets, visors, communications gear, and survival equipment are fitted and tested. Flight data and navigation references are verified again before the crew walks out to the aircraft. Once at the helicopter, they begin the cockpit setup. Screens power on, flight systems are checked, navigation data is loaded, and communications are tested. The optics and targeting systems are also brought up because the helicopter's sensors are central to this mission. The Apache is not just flying out to look around. It is expected to identify, track, and engage. By the time engine startup begins, the aircraft has already gone through several layers of preparation. Once airborne, the helicopter is pushed into the patrol zone as part of a wider system rather than by itself. That is what matters most in this war. The Apache is effective because it is not the only thing in the air. Surveillance assets, fixed-wing aircraft, ships, and partner nation units all contribute to the same picture. Information about possible launches, unusual coastal movement, and airborne contacts is already being fed into the battle space before the helicopter crew even sees the target. That is how these southern flank operations are being built.